Hi everyone, this is Amanda at Amanda's Booktopia. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. And today I want to go over all the books in November that I'm hoping to get to at some point that are being released in the month of November. I don't know when I'll get to them all. Probably not anytime soon. Some of them, maybe. Others might be not until next year that I actually read them. However, these are the ones that I am excited for them to come out, and so I could potentially read them. And so I have everything pulled up on my laptop so we could kind of go over all the books. And the first one that I know, let's just want to tell everybody first that this video is kind of late because some of these books have already technically come out. At least 4 of them have, for sure. I know has already come out. So that's why this is a little late. We're ready to get right into it, and I'll talk about the ones that I'm interested in reading. The first one is the new Lila Sage book, Lost and Lassoed. I still need to read the second book. I haven't read the second one yet. But the third one I saw is a small town romance featuring enemies, lovers, and forced proximity. I'm not going to really get into the synopsis on this one, because technically it's third in the series. I don't know if that means it's an interconnected standalone or not, but just in case, I don't want to spoil me or anybody else. But it has an average rating of 4.44, so it's gotta be a good one. I've heard lots of great things about the series. I read Done and Dusted, really enjoyed that one. So I definitely want to continue that series because I heard there's going to be an adaptation. So I definitely need to make sure I get to the rest of the books in the series. That comes out technically on the 5th, but filming on the 6th of November, so technically it already came out like yesterday. And then the next one that I'm also interested in reading is The Lake of Lost Girls by Catherine Green. And it has an average rating of 3.93. And it sounds very interesting. It's a thriller told in alternating timelines. It sounds very interesting. It has like a podcast element to it. And it's a twisty tale of a missing student and her sister who is desperate for answers. It says it's 1998 and female students are going missing at Southern State University in North Carolina. A freshman, Jessica Fadley, once a bright and responsible student, is going through her own struggles. Just as her life seems to be careening dangerously out of control, she suddenly disappears. Then 24 years later, Jessica's sister Lindsay is desperately searching for answers and uses the momentum of a new chart-topping true crime podcast, 10 Seconds to Vanish, that focuses on the cold cases to guide her own investigation. Soon, interest reaches fever pitch with the bodies of the long-missing women begin turning up at a local lake, which leads Lindsay down a disturbing road of discovery. And in the present, one sister seeks to untangle a complicated web of lies. In the past, the other descends ever deeper into a darkness that will lead to her ultimate fate. So that sounds really interesting. I heard about this when people were predicting like Book of the Month predictions for November, and that one came up as a prediction, and when I heard about it, it sounded so interesting, so I'm like, okay, add to list, I want to read that. So I am very fascinated by that one, and that also came out yesterday on the 5th. And then the next one is actually a re-release. This was first published July 15th, 2014. So this was published way before, but they're re-releasing it with a new cover. That is The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier. And I was definitely interested in the story. It's been on my Amazon wishlist for a while. Then I saw it had a new cover and it was being re-released. So I'm like, okay, I'm interested. It's an average rating of 4.08. It says a rash of grisly serial murders plagued Seattle until the infamous Beacon Hill Butcher is finally hunted down and killed by Police Chief Edward Shank in 1985. Now, some 30 years later, Shank, retired and widow, is giving up his large, rambling Victorian house to his grandson Matt, whom he helps raise. Settling back into his childhood home and doing some renovations in the backyard make the house feel like his own. Matt, a young up-and-coming chef and restaurateur, stumbles upon a locked crate he's never seen before. Curious, he picks the padlock and makes a discovery still gruesome, but will forever haunt him. Faced with this deep, dark family secret, Matt must decide whether to keep what he knows buried in the past, go to the police, or take matters into his own hands. Meanwhile, Matt's girlfriend Sam has always suspected that her mother was murdered by the Beacon Hill butcher, 2 years after the supposed butcher was gunned down. As she pursues leads that will prove her right, Sam heads right into the path of Matt's terrible secret. That sounds really interesting, and sounds like something I'm really going to like. I love books with like serial killers, so I'm really looking forward to checking out this one. This one was re-released also yesterday. So I'm definitely looking forward to giving that one a shot. And then the next one, I actually got from Book of the Month for the month of November. So I'm very excited this one's coming up. And this is The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. I haven't heard the best things about it, but on GoodReads it's an average rating of 4.25. So it's gotta be at least pretty good. And it's been on my wish list for a while now. And it sounds really interesting. And so I thought I'd give it a shot. It gave me kind of similar vibes to A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. And I love that book. So I'm really hoping I'm going to like this one too. Because this one also has Vikings in it. It says, Scylla Nordvig is running for her life. The queen of Iseldur has sent warriors to bring Scylla to Sunnavik, where death awaits her. When her father is killed, his last words set Scylla on a perilous quest. Travel the treacherous road of bones, 1,000-mile stretch haunted by warbands, creatures of darkness, and a mysterious murderer, and go to Copa, where a shield house awaits her. After barely surviving the first stretch of road, a desperate Scylla sneaks into a supply wagon belonging to the notorious Blood Axe crew. To make it to Copa, she must win over Axe Eyes, the brooding leader of the crew, while avoiding the wolf, its distractingly handsome right-hand man. Though the queen's ruthless assassin has other plans and hunts Scylla obsessively. Will Scylla make it safely to Copa, or will she fall prey to the perils of the Road of Bones? And it sounds so interesting. It's the first book in the Ashen series, it says. So it sounds like it's going to be a series. And I'm definitely excited to get this one Book of the Month. It is on its way to me, and I'm very excited to give it a go. And that technically also just got released yesterday as well. And it's actually a re-release. Because it used to be an indie book. And it just got traditionally published, which is why it's a re-release. And then the next one I'm also very excited to read. I read the first one in this series and really enjoyed it. This was a re-release because it was originally indie published. But this is The West Wind by Alexandria Warwick. And I read the first book in the series, The North Wind, and really enjoyed that. I think I gave it like 4 stars, something like that. And this one has an average rating of 3.71. And I'm really hoping I'm going to love this, because I really enjoyed the first book of the series, and now that this is being traditionally published, I'm very excited to get the second book. I probably won't get it till December, technically, because I can only get so many books in a month. But it's a standalone fantasy romance sprinkled with Greek lore, perfect for fans of Jennifer L. Armentrout, Laura Thalassa, and Scarlett St. Clair. And I have read from Jennifer L. Armentrout before and really enjoyed her. So I'm very excited to read this. And I'm not going to read too much into the synopsis on this one, mostly because I don't know if there's anything from the North Wind that's going to spoil in this one. But because of the way things ended in the North Wind and the way things happen, I am very excited to dive into the story and see how the series goes. The first one, I believe, is like a Hades and Persephone / Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I really had a good time. So I am very excited for the West Wind. And that's coming out, the traditionally published version, on the 12th. And then the next one, also coming out on the 12th, and I'm very excited for, is The Games Untold by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is 4.5 in the Inheritance Games collection series. And I love the first 3 books. I still need to read The Brothers Hawthorne. And I also need to read The Grandest Game. The Grandest Game, I know, is a spin-off. So it's not technically in the original series. However, I do still want to read those because this one's coming out. I'm guessing, I wonder when the 5th book's going to come out, but this is in the 4.5. Oh, okay, so this is a collection of stories. My bad, I didn't realize that. So there's going to be a few short stories in this, so it's not like it's a full-length novel. It's like a short story collection, but regardless, I am excited for it. It has such a pretty cover. Now I've been collecting the series, and I need to continue the series. Because I absolutely love the first 3 books in the Inheritance Games series. So that will be out on the 12th. I probably won't be able to get to it this year, but I'm hoping next year for sure. And then the next book that I'm also excited to get to, which probably won't be this year, but I entered the giveaway for it on GoodReads. This is The Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley. And it's supposed to be a fantasy romance. And I didn't really know much about this. I knew nothing about this book until I heard a couple of booktubers that I follow mention it. And it sounded really, really interesting. So I'm like, okay, I'll give this one a shot. It comes out on the 12th. As an average rating of 4.37. So it has to have some pretty good reviews. And it says, in the underground Fey realm, only the strongest and most ruthless have power. When a young human woman forced into a life of servitude is about to change everything. And then it says, Kenna Heron is best known in her village for being a little wild. Some say half feral, but she'll need every ounce of that ferocity to survive captivity in the cruel Fey court. Trapped as a servant in the fairies' underground kingdom of Mistay, Kenna must help her new mistress undertake 6 deadly trials, one for each branch of magic: fire, earth, light, void, illusion, and blood. If she succeeds, her mistress will gain immortality and become the heir to Earth House. If she doesn't, the punishment is death for both mistress and servant. With no ally but a sentient dagger of mysterious origins, Kenna must face monsters, magic, and grueling physical tests. But worse dangers wait underground, and soon Kenna gets caught up in a secret rebellion against an inventively sadistic fairy king. When her feelings for the rebellion's leader turn passionate, Kenna must decide if she's willing to risk her life for a better world and a chance at happiness. Surviving the trials and overthrowing a tyrant king will take cunning, courage, and an iron will, but even that may not be enough. And as soon as I saw trials, I'm like, I was game for this book. That's a huge buzzword for me. So any book that has trials, I knew I had to try it. So I'm very excited for this one to come out. And it will be out on the 12th. I'm not be able to buy it right away this month. However, I am very much excited to get to it. I'm hoping to get it, if not this year, definitely next year. Because it definitely has my interest. And then the next book I'm also interested in reading is The Sunflower House by Adriana Algary. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But there was a giveaway for it at GoodReads, so I entered the giveaway. And it comes out on the 12th. Already has an average rating of 4.57. So that's really high. So this one's got to be a good one. This one came to my attention when I saw some booktubers predicting Book of the Month predictions for the month of November. And this one came up. Unfortunately, it was not a pick for Book of the Month. Otherwise, I would have gotten it. But this sounds really, really interesting. It's a historical fiction. And it takes place during World War II. It's a kind of like a real-life Handmaid's Tale and a Nazi-run baby factory. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to check this out. And it says, in a sleepy German village, Alina Strauss's life seems idyllic. She works at her uncle's bookshop, makes strudel with her aunt, and spends weekends with her friends and fiance. But it's 1939, Adolf Hitler is chancellor, and Alina's family has a terrifying secret. Her birth mother was Jewish, making her a Mischling. One fateful night, after losing everyone she loves, Alina is forced into service as a nurse at a state-run baby factory called Hochlandholm. There, she becomes both witness and participant to the horrors of Heinrich Himmler's ruthless eugenics program. The Sunflower House is a meticulously researched debut historical novel that uncovers the notorious Lebensborn program of Nazi Germany. Women of pure blood stayed in Lebensborn homes for the sole purpose of perpetuating the Aryan population, giving birth to thousands of babies who were adopted out to good Nazi families. Alina must keep her Jewish identity a secret in order to survive. But what she discovers in the neglect occurring within the home, she's determined not only to save herself, but also the children in her care. And it's a tale of one woman's determination to resist and survive. It's also a love story. When Alina meets Karl, a high-ranking SS officer with secrets of his own, two must decide how much they are willing to share with each other, and how much it could stand to risk as they join forces, save as many children as they can. The threads of this poignant and heart-rending novel weave a tale of loss and love, friendship and betrayal, and the secrets we bury in order to save ourselves. And I am so down for this. I love historical fiction. It's one of my favorite genres. I haven't read a lot of it lately on my channel, but I want to get back into it because I really enjoy this genre, especially during World War I and II, which are like my favorite time periods to read from. So I'm very looking much forward to getting to this book at some point. I would love to see if I could get an audio for it, either on Hoopla or if it shows up on Hoopla. We'll see, but I'm definitely interested in reading that. And then the next one that's coming out on the 19th, and for those who are obsessed with this series, I would not be surprised because a lot of people are really, really anticipating this particular book. This is the third book. This is the Crowns of Nyaxia series, Carissa Broadbent, and this is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. And from my understanding, this is, well, the first two books, Sharp by the Wings of Night and The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King, is the first two books in the duology, and then the third book is the start of another one, following another character. And I don't want to get too far into this synopsis because technically it comes after The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but I really love the first book, and I still need to read the second. I did read Six Scorched Roses, was not really a fan, unfortunately, but I do really want to finish out the first duology before I get to this one. But it has an average rating of 4.32, so I know it's going to be good, and I need to continue the series so I could get to it. So I am very excited for that. And then the next one, also coming out on the 19th, is Variation by Rebecca Yarros. I love Rebecca Yarros, especially with the Fourth Wing series. Once we get into January, you'll see I'm very anticipating Onyx Storm. But she has a new romance coming out. And I want to collect more of her romance books. I have a few, but I wanted to get her new one because I was thinking of doing like a special vlog reading her romance books. So if you're interested in that, let me know down in the comments if you're interested in that kind of a vlog. Because this one sounds really cool because it has ballet in it. And I used to do ballet when I was a kid. So I'm very fascinated about it. Variation. So it says, elite ballerina Ali Rousseau is no stranger to pressure. With her mother's eyes always watching, perfection was expected, no matter the cost. But when an injury jeopardizes all she sacrificed for, Ali returns to her summer home to heal and recover. But the memories she tried to forget rush in and threaten to take her under. As a Coast Guard rescue swimmer, Hudson Ellis knows that hesitation can mean the difference between life and death. He's always prided himself on being in the right place at the right time, especially when it came to Ali Rousseau, until the night he left for basic. After the biggest regret of his life, the secrets he keeps means he can never be with the one woman he wants more than his next breath. and Hudson's niece shows up on Allie's doorstep, desperate to find her birth mother. Allie finds herself in an unimaginable position. Allie and Hudson's past and present might be endlessly complicated. The thread that tied them to each other all those years ago may have unraveled, but the truth will pull them back together or drive them apart forever. So, I'm very much looking forward to that. I think it's going to be good. I mean, everything I read from Rebecca Yarros, I really enjoyed, so I'm excited for it. And then after that one, we have another book on the 19th, and that is The Half King by Melissa Landers. People are already getting fairy loot editions of this one. Plus, it sounds amazing, and it's Red Tower, so of course it's going to have sprayed edges, and I have to get the Red Tower edition. You know I do. So I will definitely be getting that. And it already has an average rating at 3.65. It's kind of average. But I heard it's supposed to be like a spin-off of The Sandman and something else. What was the other one? Well, I can't remember. But it sounds so interesting. It says, the great betrayal changed everything for the Allied work. Long ago, the kingdom's noble houses rose up against the goddess, and for their treachery, the firstborn of each noble family was cursed. One with perilous beauty, one with destructive knowledge, one with insatiable bloodlust. But the royal house, Martara, received the worst affliction of all. For while the king exists during the day, he fades into nothingness at night, until his 21st birthday, when he will be lost to the shadows forever. Now an acolyte has arrived at court. Like all the second-born children of the allied realm, she's destined to serve the goddess and become a seer. Only Cerise Solon has no gift of foretelling. In fact, she has no magical gift at all. Instead, she's surrounded by courtiers and priests, smiling sycophants whose hearts are filled with secrets and lies. And at the center of it all sits His Majesty King Cannibal Mortara, with his haunting eyes, sharp tongue, and an unerring ability to send her pulse skittering at the worst possible moment. Falling for him is unthinkable, because the king is the last of his line, and as the specter of his 21st birthday, and the full force of his curse, approaches, the kingdom holds its breath. But there's only one way to save a dying king, and it lies to the one person who's hiding the biggest secret of all, Cerise. So I'm very excited for this one. This is one of the ones I'll definitely be buying in November, because it's a stunning cover, there's going to be stunning sprayed edges, and I cannot wait to read this. So I think it's going to be a good one. And then the next one I am also very much looking forward to is The Front Runner by Elsie Silver. It's part of the Golden Rush Branch series. It's number 3. I haven't even gotten I think I have number 1, but I haven't read it yet. I need to catch up on my Elsie Silver books. So I'm not going to talk too much about the description, but it's number 3 in the series, and I need to read more of her books so I could catch up. So, yeah, I am very excited to read this one. Probably won't be until next year, because I have a lot of books I want to read before the end of the year. But it has an average rating of 4.26, and Elsie Silver seems to be very much a hit lately. Everyone's been talking about her books. Everyone loves her books. What was the first one I read from her? Flawless. That was it. I read Flawless, really enjoyed that. And I want to continue the series and read this series as well. It's a separate series. But I think Gold Rush Ranch comes before that series. Pretty sure. It was first published in 2021. So I'm definitely looking forward to at least reading more of her books and hopefully get to The Front Runner at some point. And we are down to the last 2 books. The next one comes out on the 22nd. Oh, I forgot to mention the Elsie Silver book comes out on the 21st, by the way. And on the 22nd, we have The Housemaid's Wedding by Freida McFadden. I read the whole series. Was not much of a fan of the last book. But this is a short story in between books 2 and 3. So we get to see Millie's wedding. And I'm very much looking forward to that. It's a 3.58 star rating with only 12 ratings. So it seems like it's going to be a decent one. It's very short. I don't think there are very many pages. I'm very excited to complete my collection by reading the short story and seeing if I like it. I'm really hoping I do because I really enjoyed the first 2 books. And I heard the first one's being made into a movie. So I'm excited to get to that short story. And then the last book on this list comes out on the 26th. And this is one I am most anticipating for November. And this is Tale of the Heart Queen by Nisha J. Tooley. It's the last book of the Artifacts of Verano series. The first one is Trial of the Sun Queen. And I'm not going to talk about the description on this one because it will spoil the other books in the series because this is number 4. But it's finishing the series. And I cannot wait to see how this all unfolds. I have been obsessed with the series. I am loving the books. And this one had a 4.44 star average rating. And I cannot wait to see how this all ends. It's going to be fantastic. I know not everybody loves the first book, but as you keep going in the series, the politics come through, more fantasy comes through. You get a lot more in the story than just, what happens in the first book. There's so much more to this world. There's so much world building in this series. I really think more people need to at least continue on in the series. Because this is, hands down, definitely a favorite. And I cannot wait to finish out this series. I am hoping to get this particular book in the month of November because I desperately want to finish out the series and see if I love it just as much as the other ones. I'm really hoping it's close to a very satisfying conclusion. I cannot wait to read it. So I'm hoping if I don't read it in November, it'll definitely be December because I need to know what's going to happen in this series. And that is all the books that I have that I'm anticipating for the month of November. Are you anticipating any of these? Have you got any arcs that you've already read? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. I love to know what everyone is going to be reading, and definitely let me know what you're anticipating for November because I love adding more books to my wish list. So if you're if you have any books that you're interested in reading that I have not mentioned, definitely let me know your suggestions. I may have to check those out as well. So I hope everybody loved this November release video. If you don't feel like being chatty, give me a crown for Tale of the Heart Queen because I'm really anticipating that one the most. So thank you all for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, give me a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more bookish content, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below. And I'll see you all in the next one.